Jessica always believed hard work and honesty would protect her from financial ruin. Yet, after unforeseen medical bills and a sudden job loss, she found herself drowning in debt, with no safety net. Studies show nearly 60% of Americans face similar struggles despite good intentions. Her story isn't unique, but it reveals a painful truth: good people can and do go bankrupt. Yet, in this darkest hour, Jessica chose to fight back and rebuild from zero, revealing the power of resilience and smart strategy. Mark, a 38-year-old sales manager living in Ohio, never imagined he was heading toward financial collapse. Like many Americans, he always paid his bills on time, had a stable job, and thought he was safe. However, when his credit cards started accumulating small debts he postponed paying, and the interest quietly grew, he failed to notice the clear warning signs. According to a Federal Reserve survey, over 40% of adults in the U.S. cannot cover an unexpected $400 expense, leaving them vulnerable to sudden financial crises. For Mark, the first red flag came when he needed to use his credit limit to cover basic expenses like groceries and gas. Soon, the debt became a snowball. The reality is that many people ignore warning signs because they appear in small doses: late payments, excessive use of revolving credit, dipping into emergency funds, or increased money-related stress. Pew Research Center studies show that 30% of Americans report feeling very worried about their finances, but most don't know how to identify early symptoms of impending bankruptcy. Mark realized he was in trouble when collection calls began and his credit score plummeted. He never imagined this could impact his personal life so deeply, causing anxiety and even distancing from family. Another important fact reveals that the main causes leading to personal bankruptcy in the U.S. are unexpected medical expenses, about 66% of cases, prolonged unemployment, and poor credit management. Mark faced the latter two simultaneously. When he lost his job, he had no financial reserve to fall back on, and the bills kept coming. With no alternatives, he resorted to high-interest loans, which worsened his situation. This combination is fatal for the unprepared, and unfortunately, many face this reality without even realizing they are on the brink of financial ruin. But what separates those who avoid bankruptcy from those who fall into it? Recognizing the problem early is the first step, even if painful. Mark had to face the truth and seek help to understand exactly where his mistakes were and what needed to be done to regain control. He learned that self-deception, pride, and lack of planning are the greatest enemies on this journey. By opening his eyes to what was happening, he began to map out a strategy to avoid total bankruptcy. This chapter shows that financial warning signs exist for those who know how to observe small gestures, numbers, and even emotions related to money. Ignoring them is like ignoring a red light in traffic; it can be costly. Mark's story shows that the path to avoiding bankruptcy starts with awareness of one's limits and the willingness to act before it's too late. After hitting rock bottom, Mark realized that surviving his financial crisis required more than just hope; it demanded real action and proven strategies. The overwhelming debt and growing interest rates made it impossible to see a way out. Yet, he found inspiration in stories of others who had clawed their way back from bankruptcy. Mark decided to seek professional advice, learning about debt consolidation and budgeting techniques that would help him regain control. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling reports that over 80% of Americans who use credit counseling improve their financial habits and reduce debt. Mark's first step was creating a detailed budget, tracking every expense to uncover where money was leaking. This discipline revealed unnecessary subscriptions and impulsive purchases he had ignored. Next, he contacted his creditors to negotiate lower interest rates and payment plans, an approach many shy away from but one that can significantly ease financial pressure. According to a study by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, 65% of consumers who negotiate with creditors experience improved payment terms. He also embraced the method of prioritizing debts, focusing on high-interest accounts first to reduce the snowball effect. By doing so, Mark slowly chipped away at his liabilities while avoiding new debts. He supplemented this by cutting discretionary expenses and picking up freelance work to generate extra income. This combination of strategic debt management and increased cash flow became his lifeline. While progress was slow and setbacks occurred, Mark's commitment to his recovery plan grew stronger every day. The turning point came when he paid off his first credit card balance, an emotional victory that renewed his confidence. Financial experts agree that small wins in debt repayment boost motivation and are crucial for long-term success. Mark's story exemplifies how effective recovery is possible with the right methods, perseverance, and willingness to change habits. His journey from despair to hope highlights practical steps anyone can take when facing overwhelming debt. Beginning with acknowledging the problem and acting decisively. As Mark continued to rebuild his financial life, he discovered that knowledge was, without a doubt, his most powerful weapon against future pitfalls. Having faced the harsh reality of bankruptcy, he realized that relying on luck or hard work alone was not enough to secure lasting stability. It was financial education that would empower him to make informed decisions, avoid common traps, and build a resilient economic foundation. Mark immersed himself in financial literacy courses, devouring books, podcasts, webinars, and trusted online resources that demystified concepts like budgeting, credit scores, emergency funds, and investment basics. This deep dive into financial education reflected findings from the FINRA Investor Education Foundation, which showed that adults with higher financial literacy are 30% less likely to experience severe financial hardship over time. Mark's newfound understanding shed light on the poor habits and misconceptions that had contributed to his downfall. He had once underestimated the dangers of relying too heavily on credit cards, accumulating revolving debt without a clear repayment plan. He had also neglected the importance of maintaining an emergency savings fund, which left him vulnerable to income shocks such as job loss and unexpected medical expenses. Through his research, Mark learned the critical rule recommended by financial experts: build an emergency fund sufficient to cover at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This insight aligned with data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, which found that households with adequate emergency savings are far less likely to fall into debt after facing financial setbacks. Motivated by this knowledge, Mark set up automatic monthly transfers to a dedicated savings account, turning discipline into a sustainable habit rather than an occasional effort. Beyond savings, Mark began to actively manage his credit health by regularly checking his credit reports to spot and dispute errors that could hurt his credit score. Slowly but surely, his credit rating improved, opening doors to better loan terms and financial opportunities that had seemed out of reach during his crisis. Recognizing that personal research alone was insufficient, Mark sought out certified financial planners to get trustworthy, professional advice. He learned to distinguish between sound financial counsel and the many quick-fix schemes or hearsay that promise fast money but often lead to more trouble. This proactive approach to financial planning helped him develop realistic long-term goals, whether it was homeownership, retirement planning, or investment diversification. The power of education transformed Mark's outlook entirely. He moved from a reactive survival mode, constantly fighting to keep his head above water, to a proactive stance of long-term financial health and security. He understood that financial literacy was not a luxury reserved for the wealthy or the financially savvy, but a necessity for anyone seeking to safeguard their future against unforeseen hardships. Mark's experience vividly illustrates that, no matter how deep the crisis, gaining control over one's financial knowledge is the bedrock for rebuilding confidence and stability. This chapter stands as a testament to the life-changing impact of financial education. It arms individuals with the tools to break cycles of debt, empowers them to make smart choices, and shields them from repeating costly mistakes. Mark's journey is a powerful reminder that the key to overcoming financial challenges lies not just in surviving, but in learning and evolving beyond them. With his finances finally stabilizing and his financial knowledge steadily growing, Mark understood that merely surviving was no longer enough. It was time to take a proactive approach toward building multiple streams of income and making smart investments to secure his financial future for the long term. Having experienced firsthand the insecurity of relying on a single paycheck, especially after the shock of losing his job. He recognized that depending solely on a salary was a risky gamble. Diversifying income sources became not just a choice but an imperative for true financial resilience. Inspired by stories of countless ordinary Americans who successfully supplemented their income through side gigs and passive income, Mark began to explore various options. He looked into freelance opportunities that matched his skill set, online tutoring in areas he was proficient in, gig economy jobs such as ride-sharing and delivery services, and even small-scale e-commerce. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, nearly 30% of working Americans now engage in some form of secondary income generation, a clear indicator that multiple income streams are increasingly vital in today's economy. Mark's initial venture into extra income started with freelancing, where he leveraged his expertise in sales and customer service to secure projects on platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. Not only did this side work boost his monthly cash flow, but it also helped him rebuild confidence and expand his professional network, both invaluable assets after his financial hardship. Simultaneously, Mark took a deliberate step to educate himself about investing, a topic that once seemed daunting and out of reach. He started cautiously by investing small amounts in low-risk mutual funds and exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Gradually expanding his portfolio as his comfort and knowledge increased. The National Endowment for Financial Education highlights that individuals who commit to regular investing, even modest amounts, tend to accumulate wealth steadily over time and are better equipped to weather financial shocks. Mark also adopted the strategy of automating his investments, setting up monthly automatic transfers to investment accounts. This pay-yourself-first principle, widely advocated by financial planners, helped him build wealth passively and maintain discipline even during months when motivation waned or expenses surged. By treating investment contributions like mandatory bills, he ensured consistent growth in his portfolio regardless of market ups and downs. He further educated himself on tax-advantaged retirement accounts such as 401(k)s and individual retirement accounts, IRAs. Learning how to maximize employer matching contributions and strategically minimize tax liabilities. This savvy approach positioned him well for long-term financial independence. Alongside his growing investments, Mark remained vigilant about optimizing his expenses and deepening his financial literacy. He refined his budgeting strategies by meticulously analyzing spending patterns, cutting unnecessary costs like unused subscriptions and impulse purchases, and redirecting these savings toward debt repayment and investment. This comprehensive, holistic approach to money management gave Mark greater control, flexibility, and confidence to face future uncertainties. Mark's story illustrates a powerful, often overlooked truth. True financial recovery is not merely about escaping the grip of debt but about building multiple financial pillars that protect, sustain, and grow wealth over time. By diversifying income streams and investing wisely, he transformed his vulnerability into opportunity, constructing a solid foundation for sustainable security and independence. His journey exemplifies how strategic planning, continuous learning, and disciplined action can rewrite even the most challenging financial narratives. One of Mark's key realizations was the importance of long-term financial planning. He began setting clear, achievable goals, such as homeownership, retirement savings, and funding his children's education, and developed detailed plans to meet each. Utilizing tools like budgeting apps and financial planning software, he tracked progress regularly and adjusted his strategies when necessary. The CFP board reports that individuals who engage in regular financial planning are significantly more likely to feel confident about their financial future and have higher net worths. Mark also embraced the value of continuous education and staying informed about economic trends, tax law changes, and new investment opportunities. He subscribed to financial newsletters, attended webinars, and networked with financial advisors to keep his knowledge current and actionable. This proactive mindset helped him anticipate market shifts and adjust his portfolio to balance risk and growth. Crucially, Mark understood that protecting his wealth was as important as building it. He invested in adequate insurance coverage, health, life, disability, and property insurance, to shield himself and his family from unforeseen catastrophes that could derail their progress. According to the Insurance Information Institute, having proper insurance reduces the risk of financial ruin from unexpected events. Finally, Mark became a source of inspiration for his community, sharing his story and encouraging others to pursue financial literacy and responsible money management. His journey from despair to stability became a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of knowledge and discipline. Mark's experience teaches us that financial freedom is not a destination but an ongoing journey, one built on the pillars of planning, education, protection, and community support. His story is a reminder that no matter how deep the crisis, a secure and sustainable future is within reach for those willing to learn and act.